Welcome back to the Takeout. Thanks for hanging out with us. With 5 months to go before the primary, a recent poll shows Texas Republican race for the Senate toss-up, effectively, between two candidates. Survey from the University of Houston shows Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton with a narrow lead over John Cornyn. How narrow? 1 point. Congressman Wesley Hunt, in that poll, he was included, trailing by double-digit margin, but the poll was conducted, importantly, days before Hunt announced his candidacy. Texas Republican Congressman and newly announced Senate candidate Wesley Hunt joins me now. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, sir. Greatly appreciate it, of course.
It's a historic day in the Middle East. I'd like your reaction to what President Trump has achieved and your thoughts on how much the United States should be involved, either in terms of troops or financial resources, to make sure this peace deal holds.
Well, keep in mind, this is actually round 2 for President Trump. If you recall, during his first presidency, we had the Abraham Accords. He moved the embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, which has been talked about for decades, but he actually followed through with it. And we had peace in the Middle East during his first presidency. So now this is just basically a repeat of that. This is historic, what we are seeing happening in the Middle East. And what's really important is that President Trump has always talked about being on the side of not people dying. How can we possibly protect innocent lives? And he has now dubbed himself the peace president, and that's a good moniker. I think that's fair. And the idea of us continuing to put troops all over the world and serving in endless wars is not a good idea for foreign policy, and I do not support that whatsoever. I'm somebody who's a combat veteran. I'm somebody that's deployed to the Middle East multiple times. I spent a year in Iraq, flew in 55 combat air missions in Baghdad. I spent 2 years in Saudi Arabia as a diplomatic liaison officer, and I'm also a West Point grad. And so I understand how important it is to send troops abroad. But if we do that, we have got to trust our leadership is acting in our best interest. And if they're going to risk our lives, it's for a darn good cause. And I think President Trump understands that more than any president that we have seen in modern history. We want to have a very strong military. As our Secretary of War, Mr. Hegseth, said, we want to have a very fit military, but we only want to use them when necessary, and we want to have peace through strength. And this administration is putting that on full display yet again.
If I hear you correctly, Congressman Hunt, what you're saying is others in the region who have higher stakes should be the ones putting in forces for a peacekeeping apparatus and supplying the funds to rebuild Gaza.
That is exactly what I'm saying. Again, the onus is not on the American taxpayer. We have paid enough to the world. We have paid enough. We've given enough money to the Ukrainian effort. We have given enough money to all these foreign wars over the last few decades. It is time for people to have their own skin in the game, and it is no longer using the American taxpayer as a piggy bank, as an unlimited credit card like I would give my teenage daughter. Those days are over, and there is a way to conduct diplomacy to make sure that we have everybody on board. This is an all-hands-on-deck approach. Sure, America is going to pitch in. Sure, America is going to lead by having peace through strength. But the entities in the region also have to have skin in the game. And the idea of us continuing to do this unilaterally is over. Business as usual from a diplomatic standpoint, and us funding all of this is over. And President Trump is bringing everyone to the table to have a collective force in ensuring that we have peace in these regions. I love it.
Congressman Hunt, nobody announces a race thinking they're going to lose. So diagram for me your way of winning first the Republican primary for the Senate and the general election.
The beauty of this is before I even announced to get in this race, we were already garnering over 20% of the primary vote. And at the end of the day, there is room for candidates like me who are young America First patriots who have served this country, who are in their 40s. And keep in mind, President Trump has surrounded himself around a lot of young people to ensure that we have an America First movement for the future. Keep in mind, our Secretary of War is in his mid-40s. Our Secretary of State is in his early 50s. Our Vice President is 41 years old. The United States Senate is not a retirement community. And what I keep hearing over and over again is, Wesley, we really need you to get in this race because we want to have more options. We want to have a young and better choice for the future, and we believe that you are that guy. And business as usual in Washington, as I said, is over. It is time for us to take this mantle, my generation, to take this mantle to move the ball forward. This is not about right now. This is not about 2 years from from now. This is about 4, 8, 12 years from now. How many people are going to be around to actually implement the laws now and then to actually be around to reap the benefits of them? That's exactly why I'm getting in this fight. There clearly is a path. If there wasn't a path, I certainly wouldn't be doing it, sir.
Is your candidacy about ensuring that Senator Cornyn is not reelected, or that you are reelected, even if that means Ken Paxton is knocked out?
What I've seen in polling is that John Cornyn can't really get above 30%. He's a 24-year incumbent. In the last couple of months, he has spent $25 million, and he is still polling in the high 20s, low 30s, which means that he's not getting it done. Ken Paxton is also polling in the mid to low 30s as well. So there's 23% of the people that are still undecided. You have a guy that's been on the ballot for decades. You have the current attorney general that's been on the ballot as well, statewide multiple times, and there's still 20+% undecided. That is a clear path for a third candidate like myself, and we intend on exploiting that. We intend on working for every single vote, and my job is to earn, not to be given. My job is to earn the primary voters' support and trust. And as somebody that's had to earn everything in my life, I've realized that the fight for me to do this is right now. Also, I'm giving up my congressional seat to do this. Why would I do this? It's a very good seat. This is not about being comfortable. It's not about being around D.C. and Washington for the next 10, 20 years, getting fat, collecting a check, and being a part of the swamp. It's about getting in there, doing your job to the best of your ability, and then moving on and letting the next generation carry on. That's my mantra.
Congressman Hunt, I appreciate the time. Please come in and we'll have a longer conversation.
I would love that. God bless you. Thank you so much for having me on, sir. Really appreciate it.